Well, let's talk about the electrical connectors and the wiring and the tools that I used on the back of my bus. Let's go see. First of all, we have these butt connector style of connectors. Pretty simple. All you do is strip off. Let me just cut that off. Start out fresh. Bare a little bit of wire there. Take the insulation off. You slide this on just like that. You use the appropriate crimper thing here. See, there's 3 different sizes. This one is this size right there. Crimp it on. Holds, that's good. But the crimping strength of these is up to whoever's discretion that's using it. Mine will be different than yours, be different than the next guy. Does it feel like it's tight enough? Yeah. Is it really tight enough? Maybe. See, too much up to discretion. Yes, it holds now, but will it hold somewhere down the road? We don't know that for sure, right? And this style is not sealed for sure. It's probably the most widely used and available connector on the market. And one step up from that is this style here. These ones, same deal. Just strip off a little bit of wire, slide this on there, crimp it, use the appropriate one. Again, my strength, your strength, however you're feeling that day for strength. And shrink this on. This end of this one is shrinkable, so it seals the connection inside. Just like that. This one is obviously a step up from just the regular butt connector style like this that's not sealed. But again, the crimp is up to your discretion. Mine, the next guy's, too many variables. So we can move on to the next one here. I think you can see that just fine. These ones are the same style of connector, just with the plastic sleeving taken off. You can see that. And these ones, same deal. Just bare a little bit of wire off. I like to use a little bit of flux on these. And this flux is, let's go see, non-toxic, non-acid, lead-free. You don't want to use acid because that will eat the wires away. Same deal, just put that on there, crimp it. This one is really just to hold the crimp end onto the wire, just like that. A little bit of shrink tube. And we'll shrink this one on there. Need to make sure all the wires are covered up, but not the ring terminal. There. Oh, we messed that one up. Let's get rid of that. See how that just pulled off of there and I thought it was crimped, but like I said, it's temporary. Cut some of that off. Put that on. Oh, let's get a new one here. What the heck. Crimper on. And let's use a little bit of solder on this one because these ones crimp on a little. I just want to heat up here a little bit. You can see in there there's no solder right now. Heat it up a little. There, see the end is full of solder, so that means it's ran in there and the wire has a great connection. Then put the shrink wrap on there. Shrink it. There you go. And that is a permanent connection. This can be like a ground wire or something that's bolted to somewhere, or a bigger application would be a battery cable end. Same deal. But yes, that is a sealed connection, permanent. And should work. And this again is rosin core solder. Don't use acid core on wires because it'll just corrode everything. So let's move on to the next one here. And these are the ones, this style are the ones that I removed from my bus, all these butt connector style. These I use some, just like I said, for the ground connections. Just like that. These ones here are the ones I installed on my rear lights. Like I said, these lights came with this 3-pin Deutsch connector already. Connect it with this 3-pin Deutsch connector that I have. And these ones bear a little bit of wire. Actually, let's go show you this. This part here, from here to there is where the wire goes in, and I don't know if you can really see it, but there's a hole right there. And once you strip the wire and you put it in the hole, if you see the wire in the hole there, that's where it needs to be. So strip off about that much, slide this on. That's about perfect. The wire is in the hole. There's a little gap there. That means this is on all the way. And the crimper that I used was this one here. This one happens to be Tool Aid 18880. And it's for 14, 16, and 18 gauge wire. The terminals just go in there like that. And they sit flush to the edge there. And let's get that out of there. All you do is you pull these, and these 4 little cogs in here pinch the connector, and it won't release until you get it fully crimped, right? So there it released. So you're going to do it exactly the same as I did, and the next guy's going to do exactly the same, and there's no discretion left for anybody. It's crimped. Absolutely. Yes, it is. Put this one on there. I'll just show you this, how it works. Hold it in there. Squeeze these pliers. See, it won't let go there yet. One more, and it does. And you can see it's crimped. Every one will be the same every time, no matter what. This is the cheaper version. These are about $50 Canadian. Here's a better version. These are about $350 Canadian, but they're adjustable for wire gauge. That's 14 gauge, 16, bunch of metric stuff, 12 gauge, whatever. And they do the same thing. You can see in there, there's 4 little pins that squeeze, and they don't release until it's done, fully crimped. And like I said, your crimp, my crimp, everybody's going to be exactly the same. So same deal. You just put it in there, squeeze it till these release. Done. Pretty easy. And that's just 2 different ones. They also make these connectors in 2-pin, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, a bulkhead fitting to go through a panel. So that would go through a panel, then you connect your 12-pin onto there, and these are indexed, so they only go one way. They have little pins right here. This one happens to be that way. Click it in, it's locked. Not going to come out until you release these locking tabs on the sides. And what else I have to say about these? This, like I said, this is not up to anybody's discretion. Every crimp is exactly the same. You can use these to build harnesses like this. This is for a different application, but you can branch off to different items to wherever you need to go, like that. And this particular one has different style connectors on it. These are amp connectors. They use the same pins as the Deutsch. Here's a different style of one. These ones use the little silicone seal on each wire separately, so you need to assemble this. These are weather pack fittings. They make these again in all different kind of configurations, but maybe a little harder to deal with because you need to put the silicone seal on there and you need to make sure it's in the right place. And these use different crimp-on connectors. Does not use the same tool. These just pinch the wire in there, and then they actually hold the insulation on back here. So maybe a little better, maybe not. And these are a little harder to get apart. But we're not going to use those, and I never used them on here. And to get these apart, all you do is get this little flat blade screwdriver, pry the top off. Whoa, broke it. Let's try this one. Pry the top off, just like that. Comes out. Slide the wires in till you hear it click. Click. Done. Put this on. Done. Sealed. Just like that. These are really easy to work with, and they're serviceable. They last. They stay together. To release it, you just pull on the little tab there. Pushes the pin out. Right there. Pull it out. Done. These are really easy to work with. Except for the one I broke here, but I guess we just won't use that one, or we'll find a new end. It'd be a little more gentle prying the caps off the bigger ones for sure. Here's a couple other ones. This style with the green end, they use sockets like this. And the other end, like this one, you can see a pin in there. They use pins. So they go just like that, and it's a really nice tight connection. And what else do I have? Dielectric grease shouldn't be really used on any of these connectors, because they have seals for the wire insulation, right? And the connector itself is sealed with this silicone. The dielectric grease tends to deteriorate the rubber seal here, and it expands it and eventually won't seal. The grease attracts dirt. It does not conduct electricity, so if you're trying to promote the connection here, right, it does not conduct electricity, so it won't contact from here to there very well. It'll actually decrease the contact patch. So anything that is a sealed connector doesn't use dielectric grease. That would be more for a connection like a spark plug boot, or a boot of some sort that you don't want moisture to get into. And that's about it. I think we talked about, yeah, these connectors. Shouldn't be any more on those. Maybe this harness here has split loom on it, and shrink tube on there as well to make it all nice and tidy. If you use a connector that has too many slots in it and not enough wires, they make these little white blank off pegs there. So you could use 7 wires in a 8-wire connector. These, we talked about those good enough, I think, yeah. And back to these. These are, like I said, probably the most widely used, most available, accessible, all that. You can get those easily. They're relatively inexpensive. This way is pretty cheap too, because they're just simple connectors, a little bit of solder, a little bit of flux, a little bit of shrink wrap. These are more expensive than the rest of these for sure, but like I said, these are serviceable and they're permanent. You can take them apart. Whereas on the other lights, if you're replacing one, you have to cut the connections, crimp them back on, all that kind of stuff. These ones are simply unplug, done. Not that you're going to be doing that very often, but it just makes things easier to work on, I think, doing it this way, using these Deutsch connectors. They're a little more expensive, but they work. Thanks for watching. Bye.